to respective government departments in the district. Letters requesting for such information letters are available, Chair, for verification under Appendix 1. Remedial measure. The council management wishes to continue to sensitize the taxpayers on the need to pay taxes to the local authority to improve service delivery in the district. Fees and charges. Cause for the query. The council management wishes to report that due to delayed commencement of plot numbering in Kakasa Township by the Ministry of Lands, the council lost revenue amounting to 939,000 of the budget under this category from plot premium charges, and due to the poor response received from land developers, that is from interested applicants, which was very low despite the council advertising the said plots in print media and other social media platforms. Additionally, the poor state of the main road, which connects the district to other parts of the province, contributed to the council losing out of the collection of the planned manganese levy, which accounted for 753,000 of the budget under this category. This caused the manganese firms failing to transport the merchandise due to their trucks getting stuck. Action taken. Chair, I must report that the council will only budget for plot premium charges when all the processes of land offer have been concluded, particularly the survey and numbering of plots by the Minister of Lands. Remedial measure. The council management will ensure that laid down procedures are adhered to at all times. Chair, the next one is licenses. Cause for the query. The council management wishes to state that due to the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, most businesses remained closed during most of the financial year. This resulted in the council not issuing liquor licenses and other licenses as budgeted for, and due to restrictions on commercial undertakings. Chair, the action taken or remedial measure in view of the effect of the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. The council will endeavor to make realistic revenue provisions under the stated budget line, and we also endeavor to always sensitize the community on the importance of paying relevant fees and charges due to the council in order for the council in order for the local authority to provide meaningful municipal services. Chair, the other one is levies. Cause for the query, the council management wishes to report that due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, coupled with depleting fish stocks in Lake Chifunawuli, caused most businesses to remain closed during the most of the financial year under review. This resulted in the council not issuing business permits and other levies as budgeted for due to restrictions on commercial undertakings. Action taken and remedial measure. In view of the effect of the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, the council will endeavor to make realistic financial provisions under the stated budgeted line. And council will also endeavor to always sensitize the community on the importance of paying relevant fees and charges which are due to the council in order for the local authority to provide meaningful municipal services. Permits, Chair. Cause for the query. The council management.
Cause of the query, madam. Cause of the query.
Cause of the query. The council management wishes to report that due to the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, most businesses remained closed during most of the financial year under review. This resulted in the council not issuing trading permits as budgeted for. Action taken or remedial measure. The council management wishes to state that in view of the effects of the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, the council will endeavor to make realistic revenue provisions under the stated budget line, and council will endeavor to always sensitize the community on the importance of paying relevant permits due to the relevant permits that are due to the council in order for the local authority to provide meaningful municipal services. Chair, on other receipts, cause of the query, the council management wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to the fact that funding from UNICEF meant for open defecation free program was not received as budgeted for. Action taken and remedial measure. The council will endeavor to always budget for other receipts whose funding are confirmed in writing by relevant cooperating partners. Chair, the other one is national support, the local government equalization fund. Cause for the query, the council had budgeted to receive 6,720,000 from the central government in form of local government equalization fund. However, the total receipt under the budget line were 6,617,000 during the period under review. Action taken or remedial measure. The council will endeavor to make realistic provisions under the stated budget line in consultation with Treasury through the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Operational matters. Failure to develop an integrated development plan. Chair, section 19, 3.
Let's go to the cause of the query.
Okay. Cause of the query. The council management wishes to report that the failure to develop the integrated development plan was due to liquidity challenges the council faced. Action taken. The council management has collected details for both existing and proposed land use for consideration of the district layout plan. Partial formation of the local economic development framework has also been done. Further, the first step of reporting this concept of formulation of an IDP under that minute number, Chair, in August 2019, and solicitation for financial assistance from TRALAD to develop the said IDP was also done and funding was received. I further wish to report that the draft IDP for Chifunabuli Town Council is undergoing further editing and content addition, and the final copy will be ready before the end of the first quarter of 2023. There's an appendix, Chair. Remedial measure. The council management has prioritized the development of the IDP so that it is completed and submitted to the ministry before 31st March, which is the deadline given, 2023, as guided by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Lack of firefighting and prevention services. Cause for the query, Chair. The council management wishes to report that lack of firefighting and prevention services is due to the fact that Chifunabuli Town Council is a newly created local authority, where this section under the Department of Engineering is yet to be established. Action taken, Chair. The council management wishes to report that a request was made through a letter dated 26th November 2022 to the Local Government Service Commission requesting for 5 firefighters to be sent to Chifunabuli Town Council. The firefighters will come and provide fire prevention services such as conducting services, sensitizations of community members, while the local authority waits for the fire engine to be sent to the council by the local government, by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. The council management wishes to also report that whenever there are emergency cases, Zambia, which is our neighboring council, Zambia Town Council management is always engaged to help on issues of fire prevention services and conduct sensitization meetings, which is usually done on a quarterly basis. Letters of request to both the Local Government Service Commission and Zambia Town Council are available for verification. Remedial measures. The council management will endeavor to make sure that firefighting and prevention services are provided to the residents of Chifunabudi district as a matter of utmost urgency in order to safeguard and protect properties and human life. Failure to service plots. Chair, the cause for the query. The council management wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to failure to service plots due to resource limitations, as out of 50 plots that were advertised, only 5 were sold out. Action taken. The council management wishes to report that a request for funding to have the plots serviced was sent to Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Lands in 2020, and constant follow-ups were made until partial approval was given in November 2022.
Was recently.
Sorry, Chair?
You said given, but the word is recently.
Okay, sorry for that. The council management wishes to report that a request for funding to have plots serviced was sent to Ministry of Lands in 2020, and constant follow-ups were made until partial approval was recently in November 2022 given, amounting to 1,380,385 for the first phase. The memorandum of understanding between the council and Ministry of Lands and letter of partial approval are available for verification, Chair. Remedial measure. Council will endeavor to make sure that all the necessary processes as stipulated in the Ministry of Land Circular number 1 of 1985 are followed before land can be offered to the general public. Chair, the next one is environmental management. And let me go to cause for a query. The council management wishes cause for a query. The reason for a query was due to the fact that at the time of audit, the council did not have a license for operating a dump site from Zema. The dump site was not fenced, safeguard warning signs at the dump site were not displayed, and failure to compact or cover the waste with a layer of soil. Action taken, Chair. The action taken is that the council management wishes to take note and acknowledge the auditor's observation on not having licenses from Zema to transport waste and to operate a disposal site. However, council reached to Zema and were guided that Zema is no longer issuing licenses following the enactment of the Solid Waste Regulation and Management Act of 2018 and S6, Section 6, that is, 1, read together with Section 36(1) of the Act, respectively.
Madam CS?
MK.
Yeah, I think members of Parliament, some already went through so we may not finish. What I was thinking is maybe if members approve, we can go to questions. Honorable members, is that okay? It's okay. Yeah, no, we appreciate
Chair, we read through the report,
so
and due to time,
so
we appreciate that she could have gone through. Maybe, Chair, with our members, they can respond, since it's their report and we have gone through.
Okay. No, thank you very much. You may remove your... Madam CS, you can switch off your mic and switch it on when you need to. Okay, thank you. Honorable from Nakonde, Member of Parliament, yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. I think I'll start from paragraph 5.
Are we on revenue?
Where there is failure to develop an integrated development plan. My question, Chair, will be, CS, how are you going to develop the council without this plan? Because as you know, under Section 19 of the Urban and Regional Planning Act of 2015, it requires the local authorities to prepare and implement these integrated development plans. How do you intend then to develop the council without the integrated development plan? I submit, Chair.
Okay. Maybe still on the same, we can have another question, members? If there are no questions, then she can answer. On the same integrated plan? Yes.
I just want to find out, through you, Chair, Council Secretary, why it has taken too long for you to have an IDP in place. I submit, Chair.
Okay. Can take 3. Are you noting the questions?
They are indicating that they are already working on this. Is that true? If you are, how far have you gone? Have you come with evidence to show to your committee that that's how far we've gone?
You may answer the 3 questions, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The reason the formulation of the IDP has taken so long is because the people who were working on the IDP were trained. And along the way, the person who was lead facilitating got transferred. And the person who took over from that person did not have the required competencies. That's how the same person who was acting DPO was not substantively promoted, but we now have our DPO, and we have been given a deadline of 31st March to submit the IDP. We've made serious strides from the time she came and I can confirm that evidence is there to confirm my submissions.
Yeah, but he wanted to know how we were working without an integrated plan, I think, the first member, yes.
Sorry?
He wanted to know how you were working without an integrated plan.
Chair, we are using the steps that we are making. I know that the IDP has many steps for it to be formulated, and like I said, we had trials that gave support, and because of that, some steps or some stages were attended to. But we are also doing or moving at a very we are moving at the.
Okay, CS, just for the sake of these who are asking questions,
Yes.
we would like to know the period you have stayed, you have been into Funabul, or your members should tell us so that they can have an idea. Could you start with the, could you, how long have you been
I went
at that
in 2022,
2022.
in June.
Okay, the next one?
I went in 2021.
You went in
2020.
What?
2020.
2020.
November 2019.
CS, you switch off. After you speak, you switch off.
December 2022.
2022, when? You don't remember the month?
December
December, okay.
2022.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
So we have enough idea. Then you can go ahead now.
Post the chair, thank you so much. The question which was asked and repeated by the chairperson is, what have you been using in the absence of the integrated development plan? And if there's one in your inventory, that's why you've come with them. You can delegate to say, let this one also take it. You are a team. To feel free. Pleasure.
Yes, as guided by yourself, there should be some plan in place to which every activity that we're doing makes reference to. We are a break-off council from Zambia, and ideally we should have had a strategic plan in place. But I think at the time when that should have been done, there was was it a directive that we should now focus our attention on developing an integrated development plan. So to answer your question, sir, we do not have a strategic plan in place, but we are working on the IDP.
Have you been told of the strategic plan?
What was there before Chifunabuli was created as a district in 2018, what was there before was the strategic plan for Zambia. So ideally, we should have created one, but because of the new directive for us to now develop the IDP, this is our focus, sir.
Just to follow up on the same, you are not answering the question. What are you using? We are aware that you don't have. So can you indicate what informs your activities or your programs?
Maybe the only thing that we can say is that we admit that we do not have an IDP, and that while we are preparing that IDP, we are not using anything apart from probably the budget.
So we're using the budget. Okay. Have we answered the other questions? There were two other questions again. Okay. Then let's have Honorable Nyambos.
Chair, and I want to appreciate your response that you're using the budget. May I find out first, when you look at page 1, Chair?
So we are now on on the revenue, isn't it?
Yes, I'm
Yes,
relating
yes,
to
go
their
ahead.
budget.
Yeah.
They estimated to collect 2.596290 from local taxes. They merely collect 714,363,000. 363 kwacha. 714,363 kwacha. They have a negative variance of 1.881927. And this is the budget that is informing their activities. How are you operating with this budget? You merely collecting the whole year 700,014. What is the main source of revenue? And is this budget supporting your activities? Since you are created to provide services, what services are you providing from this?
Thank you, Chair. The budget that is saying we undercollected, and what is the main source of income? We've diversified. Initially, council was collecting revenue from markets. Council was also collecting from what we have outlined there, but that wasn't enough. So what when we sat, we decided that we should come up with sorry, Chair. We should come up with the various sources of income, or we should focus on various sources. And we decided that we were going to come up with a task force, which is in...
I think, Madam, the question is yes, yes. He is asking that the variance is too much, 1.8. So if you are saying you did, you changed, you should have changed it for better. But the figures, the difference is too huge here, 1.8 negative. So he's asking why that happened.
Thank you, Chair. In our responses, first I'll begin by answering the major source of revenue for the council. Like from the table, we have the fees and charges. So from the fees and charges, these consist of the manganese
But
levy.
those we have all seen them.
Yes, the manganese levy
very
and
clear. The variation, could we justify why you had that variance, why you went down?
okay. The justification for the variation in the amounts collected, we have highlighted a number of reasons. Because predominantly the council depends on the manganese levy, and the road which connects to the same mines, it's in a poor state, and most of the manganese traders, they've decided to move to the neighboring districts. Others are now in Chipiri, others are also in Mansa. Then the other part, which consists of the same levy, which is 2.1, because when you look at the variance for the fees and charges, it's almost 1.8. That's where like the huge component is coming from. The other one are the plot premiums. The council couldn't collect the monies from the plot premiums because there was a ban on the sale of government properties. a circular was released, and it stated that there was a suspension on the sale, and that also contributed. Moreover, when we advertised, there was also a poor response from the plot applicants. We have also highlighted that out of the 50 plots that were advertised, only 5 were sold. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, but so, yeah, before you
Let
come,
me
Honorable
ask the
Nyambos,
Treasurer, Chair.
Yeah, before you come. Even last time, this reason you are giving, Treasurer, of people using a different route, it was given again. When did this start of these people using a different route? Was it in this time you budgeted, or because even the other time, that's the reason that was given? Yeah, go ahead, Honorable Nyambos.
Chair, Treasurer, I want you to be quick and to the point. How much do you receive as equalization fund from the ministry before I come to the next one?
735,000. That's the current 2022, but in 2021 we used to receive 560,000.
Chair, I've done my calculations here. It's true, they were getting 551,000. And the entire, that is per month. You are getting 551 per month from government. And you collect only 714 the whole year. Do you think this, our council Chifunaburi, can sustain operations under your management? Because this is quite a sad situation, because the council is not showing any reason or any good position to collect money to provide service. Just to pay your salaries, you collect 714 the whole year. You can't pay, you only pay 1 month. What services do you provide to Chifunaburi Council with this collection? Thank you, Chair.
Very good question. Please note it. Then let's have a second question.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to find out from the CS, have you put up any incentives to your revenue collectors so that maybe you can motivate them to be collecting more revenue? I just want to find out if there are any incentives which you've put in place to motivate the revenue collectors. I submit, Chair.
May you answer those questions? I don't know who's answering. CS, you can choose who to answer, whether it's your treasurer or director or it's yourself. Please feel free. Put on the mic.
When we talk about the collection of revenue by Chifunaburi Town Council, previously we didn't have revenue collectors. I think we only had 5. So we wrote to the commission, to the Local Government Service Commission, to give us revenue collectors, who have since been given, and we have guided those that have come to go around and collect revenue in markets, collect revenue in various shops, and also the manganese traders who pass through our there's a
Checkpoint over
the checkpoint, sorry, Chair. We have manganese people who pass through our checkpoints. We also have the revenue collectors, who are now 12 in number, and we are giving them that motivation by making sure that when they go in the field, we attend to their logistics. And also the plots that we talked about, where, as we speak, Ministry of Lands is on site to number, to survey, and to demarcate 2,585.
Chair, my question is very specific. all these sources you are belaboring to explain, we have understood them, we have read. Answer our questions. What type of service are you providing with this total annual collection of only 700,000? Second, what motivation do you give to the revenue collectors? You just go to the motivation itself. Then, third one, do you need the full-time revenue collectors or commissioned revenue collectors? Looking at the revenue base that you have. You
Actually,
can assist the CS treasurer and others.
I think what the question, what they want you to elaborate now, name the services that you are giving to the community with this amount of money. Simple. From there, the second question, have you tried anything to motivate the people who are paying tax? Simple. Thank you.
Chair, we provide all the municipal services that we can think of. But when we talk about motivation,
No. You see, look, let's be specific. He wants you to name the previous years. What exactly did you do for Funabuli as a service? Did you buy dustbins? Did you improve the drainage? What did you use the money for? That's what they want to know. Not saying all the services that are provided, you also provide them of any council. That can't be really. I want you to name them.
Chair, allow me, if that is okay, for me to ask the treasurer, since when we are providing services, we usually go to finance to ask for some payment.
Okay.
Yes.
Treasurer, may you pick it up from there?
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Your mic, yes. Once you finish, you switch off. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Some of the services that are being provided by the council, number one, we do garbage collection from the various markets, and
you see, we don't want to provide what we have done.
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Garbage collection, and we've also done a number of market structures in the various markets, and we've also done some bores at the same market.
How many? You can remember, Treasurer.
Yes.
It's a bit of facts, yes.
We have done a bore at Mwewa Market. Then we've also provided. I forgot to mention one thing. We've also constructed a number of bus shelters. One at Sombwera. There should be 4 in total. 5 in total. The bus shelters where our people, as they are boarding to go to various places, we've provided them with the same bus shelters and some bores too at the markets we've done, and we've also done a number of market shelters. I think there are 4.
How much was the cost of each market shelter?
The market shelter, we used equalization. There was one for 200,000. Then another one was for 220,000, depending on the location where we have done.
And how many did you make?
We did 1, 2. I think there should be 2 market
said
shelters.
Before at one point, now they've come to 2.
No, because you've asked what we've done so far using the service provision. So like from the time we started as a district, I've been mentioning the same projects. Unless you tell me that I stick to 2021, but those are some of the services that we provided as a council.
Chair, you know, Treasurer and Council Secretary in the team, we are speaking to the report that you only collected 700. And we are talking about the local collections, local taxes, not equalization fund that is coming from government. We are with you in bemoaning that you are not collecting anything to help your council. Now, what measures have you put in place to improve on the collections so that there is effective service delivery to the people of Chifunabuli? Because you should understand your mandate, Chair. Let me explain. Your mandate as a council, you are created to provide services, collect from the people, and pay back to the people. Now, if you are not collecting anything, why are you existing? just
Yeah.
to get salaries?
Yeah, Honorable Smumba, you can add, I think, two. Then
Yes.
because the other question hasn't been answered yet.
Thank you very much, Chair. You know, on the same locally generated, when you go for fees and charges, you budgeted. First and foremost, you are the ones who are budgeting, not so. You budgeted to collect about 2,168,180. What made you first to budget for this amount? What were the avenues that you thought you are going to collect this amount? So maybe from there, when you answer this question, that's when we can make a follow-up questions. Because from this amount, you only managed to collect 484. Why? Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, so now, finish, you see, the first question, what services you offer, has not been answered properly, and also motivating the workers. And then the question the Honorable Smumba has asked, may you answer them now?
Okay. Thank you, Chair, for that clarification. Okay, I'll begin by answering the question where it has been asked, like, what avenues or what informed us to budget or to come to this amount, the 2.168. Initially, in 2020, from 2019 and 2020, the performance under this budget line was okay, and we did not anticipate as a council.
Just, you see, he asked a simple question. Okay, we have failed to answer, so we assume we are not giving any service.
No, I'm
Because when we're explaining, that's why we asked you on the cost. Your money you are saying on those services was already going beyond what you are collecting from what Honorable Nyambose asked you. Could you just name quickly, and so that we go to the next question?
Thank you, Chair. So, like, looking at the performance for 2.8 in 2020 and 2021, and based on the same, as a council, we based on the same performance for 2020 and 2021. Then on the question for the incentives being provided by the council and also the services provided using the same collection, from the same locally generated, we have managed to do the garbage collection and construct some of the market shelters and also the drilling of the
What
bore.
do you use to collect garbage collection? And how many times per month?
Yes. For garbage collection, normally we collect once per week, but we have two markets where we do the collection. There's the Mwewa and Lowe market. That's where we do the collection of garbage from. Then on the incentives we have given to our revenue collectors, normally when they are sent in the field, we give them specific targets which they have to achieve so that the council can be able to collect the same revenue. It's just that
You give them what? Come again?
we give them targets which they need to achieve for our revenue collectors.
When you go specific to the incentives, we know that their duty is to collect and meet the target. You know, we have time here. When you say what incentives, you go to the incentives themselves. What are those incentives? Unless you can ask to say, what do you mean by incentives? But if you know the incentive, you just go to it. Chair.
Anyone to help other members? Yes. No, there's a question for Honorable Smumba that he has asked. So incentives, we are not giving incentives. We conclude that Honorable Smumba asked the question. May you answer it? Maybe Honorable Smumba can repeat the question if you have forgotten.
Thank you very much. I stated to say, under locally generated, you said you budgeted for 2,168,180. What were you thinking? What other avenues that you thought they are going to provide, the revenues for you to plan to budget for this amount, and yet you only managed to collect 484,830. I submit, Chair.
Yeah, so go ahead now, try to answer that question.
Under the same 2,168,180, the council had budgeted, like from our response, we've even mentioned that the council had intended to collect 939,000 from the plot premiums, and there was also another component of almost 753,000 for the manganese levy. These are the revenues which the council had intended to collect from the same. But due to a number of reasons which you have highlighted, the council was unable to collect. So the amounts which consist the same 2.1 are the plot premiums and the manganese loading fees.
Honorable Kolala, yes?
Chair, thank you. Chief Nabuli, I think through you, Chair, looking at the report, the responses, and the team even confirmed when they were asked about what they use. There is no plan. There is nothing. I think even when we go on asking questions, if there was no plan, definitely I feel maybe we should just advise the council, this council, to go and sit down and put their house in order and be able to have a plan that they are going to be using. Look at the questions we are asking. The answers would have been there if they had the plan that they were using, if they had the strategy. The answers would have been there. At times I feel we are even stretching them too much. Planner. CS, put your house in order.
Yeah, we can
I
still,
just
however,
want to
continue having
agree.
questions, yes?
I want to agree because they are laboring to respond, and we have important questions here. I feel for them that they may, from the way they are coming out on simple questions, I think they just need to go back.
Okay, no, I
and
think
put their house in order.
Funaburi Council, may you go out for 5 minutes? We'll call you. Just don't go very far. Just go out and then.
It's a land where every person is born free, and it's a land of peace, of love and unity. This land, Zambia, land of the strong, home of the brave, our land, Zambia, free men we stand. In this land,
MP's Diary this Thursday at 08:35 hours features Lusaka Central MP Honorable Mulambo Haimbe. Join Paul Ndovi as he brings out real issues from your constituency. MP's Diary every Thursday on Parliament Radio and Television. MP's Diary, bringing real issues from your constituency.
My name is Honorable Clement Andeleki. I'm a Member of Parliament for Katombola constituency. Currently, I'm also the chairperson for the Legal, Human Rights and Governance Committee for the National Assembly of Zambia. I sit on a number of committees. I sit on the Expanded Budget Committee and other committees. I was born on 4th October 1974. I have 4 children, 2 girls, 2 boys. I went to school in Katombola, nearly about, I was in Nyawa, I was at Musokotwane and Mukuni. These are the schools that I attended. And I also went for secondary school. I was at Namala Secondary School, where I
we have come to the end of this session. Now that we have come to the end, your immunity is removed. You may go back. Thank you very much. You're free to leave.
MP's Diary this Thursday at 08:35 hours features Lusaka Central MP Honorable Mulambo Haimbe. Join Paul Ndovi as he brings out real issues from your constituency. MP's Diary every Thursday on Parliament Radio and Television. MP's Diary, bringing real issues from your constituency. MP's Diary this Thursday at 08:35 hours features Lusaka Central MP Honorable Mulambo Haimbe. Join Paul Ndovi as he brings out real issues from your constituency. MP's Diary every Thursday on Parliament Radio and Television. MP's Diary, bringing real issues from your constituency.
Elliot Kamondo, and I'm married with 7 children, and I come from Northwestern. I'm a member of parliament for Mufumbwe constituency, which is in northwestern part of Zambia. And then I became a member of parliament the first time in 2010. I came through a by-election, and then after that I served for 1 year, 2 months. Then later on I went on a break. Then later I came in 2016, where I served again as a member of parliament for the same constituency from 2016 to this time around. And then I come from a simple background. Yeah, of course, I was born in 1966. I'm actually getting closer to a senior citizen now. My father used to be a miner, that is in Kalulushi. And then my mother comes from Unkana, which is Kitwe, and Chief Unkana. But my dad comes from Northwestern Province. And then when my dad retired, and that's when we settled in Kalengwa, which is in Mufumbwe. I started school at Twalbuka Primary School on the Koba Belt, that is Chambishmai. By that time it was under RCM, I think. Then later when he retired, we settled in our home area, which is in Mufumbwe. And I continued at Kalengo Primary School, where I did my primary school, and then went to Solois Technical Secondary School, where I did my Form 1 up to Form 5. And then from there, I went back home again, immediately. By that time, I think we were those lucky ones that when you completed school, when they look at your results, then you are employed as well. Unfortunately, at that time, actually, I couldn't make it to the university. I wanted to become a medical doctor, but the chance could not allow me. Of course, my dad financially was not doing very well. So I decided just to go straight into employment. I worked for ZCF Finance Services for 2 years, and later went to Lilai to be trained as a police officer. And then, of course, I worked for some time. Later, I resigned and started my own things. Yeah, and then I've been doing my private business. Yeah, I've been an importer as well as a contractor and a retailer. Yeah, so as well as a transporter. So the rest of most of my years I've spent them actually doing my private business. And then until at a time when I was privileged to become a member of parliament. You know, my constituents actually, if there is someone who knows very well about the constituents, it's myself. Because that's where I started work under ZCF Finance Services, where we were giving out loans. I was actually a credit officer. So Mufumbwe is a very big, one of actually the biggest constituencies in Zambia. We share boundaries with Nkeyema constituents, Mumbwa constituents, Kaoma constituents, Kasempa constituents, then Manyinga constituents, Solwezi East constituents, and part of Mwenyelunga. And then when you go deeper again, part of what is this? Of just one more constituency that I've forgotten. And then Mufumbwe constituency, as I said, is quite vast. From the first word to the last word, because we have about 18 words, from the first word to the last one, we travel for about 560 kilometers in one constituency. Yes, and then the other part, we call it the southern part, which is closer to Western Province. And then the other part is which goes to Zambezi, yeah, and Kabompo. Mufumbo constituency also is endowed with a lot of mineral resources. As you may be aware, that is where we hosted one of the mines which had at that time a high-grade copper ore. That is Kalengwa mine, and that is where I was at that school. That is where I spent about 5 years or so, and I was a head boy at that school. Yes. However, Mufumbo is also into agriculture. We grow a lot of groundnuts, and maize also. Actually, this time we are also growing a lot of maize, and then we harvest a lot of honey. Or what we need is actually maybe to empower the people to produce more. Because before that, when I was working with ZCF, we had a program with IRDP, which they were empowering actually the beekeepers, and we used to produce a lot of honey, which was also even exported to UK and other foreign countries. And not only that, but also we have a lot of trees, the forestry. That is where you could find a lot of mukula, and not only mukula, but other species of trees. Yeah, though it's very difficult to say that sometimes you regret actually that you're coming from a place which has those natural resources, but the people, they do not benefit from those natural resources. So in short, actually, that is Mufumbwe. Also, we have 2 game management areas. One is Lunga National Park, and the other one is Kasonso Busanga. Yeah, so all these are potential areas that we can help us actually even to change the lives of people. I think in short, those are some of the few things that are there. And we also have actually a lot of water. We have actually Kabompo River, which is from town to the river is just about 12 kilometers. So in terms of irrigation, it has also a potential for irrigation and fish farming as well. My developmental agenda has always been that, first of all, I have taken actually education to be the first priority in my area, because this is an area, you remember very well, there was a time actually when there was this issue to do with some liberation of some sort over Mr. Mushala. In fact, Mr. Mushala is my in-law. For us, actually, he was a great man, and we give him respect. He was trying to come up with his own core to make sure that at least we have this democracy that we're talking about. Though things were done in a manner which was not okay, but for us, he was a great man, and we shall continue remembering him for that. Yeah, because Mufumbo has lagged behind for some time. Mufumbwe was actually made to be a bomber in 1978, but when you go there, it doesn't match with the years that it was given that status to that. So my agenda is to make sure that, because a lot of people at that time, there was a lot of actually army people going in the areas. So because of that, a lot of people actually could not even go to school. So even in terms of education, actually, at that time, people were lagging behind, because every time what they could see is the military vehicles moving into the area, which was quite scary. Yes, and then at that point, I think that contributed to a lot of people not going to school. And even if they went to school, actually they were scared that the police, I mean, in most cases they were quarantined at schools, and that is a place where maybe it was a bit of some lefty. Like I said earlier on, I would like to make sure that a lot of people are encouraged to go back to school. And that is the reason why we had a lot of actually early child marriages, because a lot of people had no access. They had overgrown to an extent that they could not go back to school. But this time around, we've seen actually a lot of people being encouraged by the policies of the government which have come in, so that everyone should have free education policy. That has encouraged us. And at first, we thought it was going to give us a very big challenge, because the classroom space became actually small. where in a class we could have more than 70 people. Now, with the coming in of the CDF, that has actually helped us to solve the problem. Now, we are putting a lot of money in building actually classroom blocks so that at least many people, we can cover as many people as possible. So that is what we are trying to do. Not only that, we are also trying to make sure that the mineral resources which are there, we are appealing to a lot of people so that we can have a lot of investors coming to Mufumbwe, because we have got a lot of copper. And not only copper, there are other minerals actually that are not even being mined. So those that are willing to come to Mufumbwe, indeed we have the minerals. Also, we want to make sure that at some point our timber are not just exploited. We want to make use of the timber so that we produce enough desks, so that, as you may be aware, the president said actually doesn't want to see a child still sitting on the floor in the next 2 or 3 years. So we are also working into that. We are also trying to make sure that at least we have enough water points, which has been a challenge in the rural areas. We are also trying to make sure that we have enough actually health facilities. Those are some of the biggest challenges. Road network actually is one of the biggest challenges that we have. Also, to get to the other part of Mufumbwe, we needed a very good road network. And I want to thank actually the government that the acro bridges which were acquired are already in the country. So the only way we want government to help us actually to expedite the process to make sure that the crossing points are actually connected to allow actually smooth movement of the government officials to go on the other side. Because currently, if we have to go to the other side of Mufumbwe, we have to pass through Kasempa and the other districts in order to access the areas which are near Nkeema and Kaoma. Now, if the road network, the old one, and the bridges were connected, it means that we are going to lessen the distance by almost 150 kilometers. And that is also going to help us actually even to supervise the other place. And also my plans are that maybe the best thing that we can do is to do the delimitation so that we minimize the size of the constituents. Imagine one member of parliament who has to cover about 560 kilometers within. Because today, if I were to start off from here to Livingstone, I only cover about 400. But now imagine on a bad road, you have to cover 560 to reach the furthest point. So my plans are to make sure that those things that I've just mentioned, within these 5 years, we tackle them. And if anything, maybe we should do 50% of this, because we have the CDF, and the government actually is determined to make sure that these developmental inequalities are lessened. So those are my plans that I have for Mufumbwe. And also, if we had a lot of investors coming in, the issue to do with the youths who are, most of them are unemployed, we are going to make sure that those youths are going to find at least something to do from the mines. And I want to also take advantage of this, even to encourage more. With the coming of the monies through the CDF, which is actually promoting skills development, that is also a very good move. And I'm also very happy to mention that at least we have sponsored so many from different actually wards, so that others are into machinery, equipment, training. Others are also doing bricklaying, various skills, which is going to prepare them so that in an event that mines opened in Mufumbwe, they will find actually jobs in those mines. And not only that, we are also trying to make sure that our women, our mothers, who are the most vulnerable, are also given some empowerment to buy some hammer mills, and also to not only buying hammer mills so that they can come up with crabs, and also go into beekeeping, fish farming, and other things that can give them some money so that it can also change their livelihood. Bena Mufumbwe, tumitemu abingi, atwe anobe ba member of parliament wenu, tusakwesegesa atuna nguvu yonse kumona kubambamba makata jonse tunakupitamo tuyapwisha. Twatendekako kuba bintu bimo. Mina kwimitunda ikaba mama ne mayouths bonse twinge mwamva mbaine tube apply CDF vamo bajina ukirenga mba kampeni mali kafakone pano I'm sure aba yomwamuna abako batambula ko kajali namuna na yanweba mwafana mujina lusala kutambula enweso akwa Mufumbwe munanu lweze ngwa minyi yenu sen komana kanda ntala wika kuli nani kane kuli MP wika MP manu manaka kunu hanjikila kongo echo chote na hanjika so nitweza ngwetu nyenu lingenu ko apply mbongo tuli najo ja CDF aze mbongo ja CDF mjini kwa sako hanganu lande ko tuigaye ni tuma tukonawa hanga tulinge kuchitua isena nikane kutwa macheno mukwa wakunani kane ukawipupu nawa tunese kani tachi jesu so that hanga tumone ko chize mtutambula mbongo hanga tuwaiseoze mkwakwa government yenu ya UPND ili mekanawa ya handa haka inde ichilema kana zange kulinga mwenye atweswe kanda amona lamba ize tu akumwena kuli akwetu hanga tuimone mfumbu ano yawe na mushimane yanweba ne yanweba twina kwimitunda bonse tunamba ikala iko na rubaji nge mwaikala na ward development committee ubaye mwikale panshi ne kumona kubambamba aya byonse binakwimikataja mwaikala panshi omna kusaka kechiba MP basa kwimyambira mba ubaye kikanangane bano muyuke kubambamba anweba bene yen musa kwikaramba amba wabera munda yeulwana kinjiro so anweba mwitubure byomna keba atweba tusakwingira monka mwaila kusaka kwenu.
Zambia. Even saying the word is a multi-sensory experience. It somehow captures something of the essence of this special place in the warm heart of southern Africa. Take in the mighty Zambezi River, the majestic Victoria Falls that form Zambia's natural southern border, and the national parks overflowing with wildlife. Immerse yourself in the fast-growing towns and cities, teeming with history, light, and life. Then visit the vast lakes that seem to touch the stars and engage with a plethora of different ethnic groups, cultures, and languages. Together, they make up the intricately woven fabric of this remarkable country. To visit Zambia is to begin a love affair that will never be exhausted, and unlike any that you have ever experienced before. For all the superlatives that man has used in his attempts to describe Victoria Falls, none are able to do this incredible natural wonder justice. You have to see it for yourself. It is a truly awe-inspiring experience. Livingstone, once Zambia's capital, and the Zambian side of the falls have become a mecca for discerning adventure tourists. Peer into the abyss from Devil's Pool at the edge of the falls. Career down the powerful rapids from Batoka Gorge in a whitewater raft. Bungee jump from the historic Victoria Falls Bridge. Or fly over the falls on a flight of angels. Whatever activity you choose, you'll be left with a renewed appreciation for the sheer might of nature. Kafue National Park is amongst the biggest in Africa and is home to more than 130 species of mammal and more than 400 bird species. Enjoy the wildlife from a different perspective on a boat cruise or a canoeing or walking safari. For sheer density of game, South Luangwa National Park is second to none. It certainly lives up to its nickname as the Valley of the Leopard. The stunning Liuwa Plains play host to the world's second largest wildebeest migration and boast some of the most striking vistas you will see anywhere in Africa. At Kasanka National Park, you can view the largest mammal migration in the world when each November, literally millions of fruit bats cover the skyline as the sun sets. Zambia's bodies of water are as abundant as its wildlife. Although it is landlocked, this country has more water than any other in Africa. There are the long, meandering rivers, some of which are interspersed by waterfalls that are only narrowly surpassed by Vic Falls. Then there are the lakes, from the vast, remote Lake Tanganyika, far in the north of the country, which is one of Africa's Great Lakes, to Lake Kariba, Africa's biggest man-made dam. Kariba is an increasingly popular beach holiday destination that is strangely reminiscent of the French Riviera. Or for the best bath of your life, visit the incredible Kapisha Hot Springs. Another unique aspect of this remarkable country are the Zambians themselves. The country's home to 72 different ethnic groups and languages, all of whom have their own diverse cultural traits and traditions. One thing they do have in common: they are all unfailingly warm and welcoming. Zambians are famous for their very own special brand of hospitality, as well as the pride they take in their Zambian identity. Wherever you go in Zambia, you will meet people who will go out of their way to leave you with a positive impression and make you feel at home. So what are you waiting for? Book your trip now and enjoy the kind of African experience you've always dreamt of. Whatever it is you're looking for, you can always be sure to find it somewhere in Zambia. So let's explore.
Carry it up. Chimudapa.
Hello mabubube, fukate konti mapanshi. Panondina vena singo, ichezi Simon, one makina potfa. They are preparing me up, put on your makeup, pantuna na popoka. Ubebeleni mama kuchana, kashata kapondo na kapopoka. Hey, panama letu seka bete. Ha, nyawana letina tita palo kotuka fika kabete. Wotsawa mulomo, ubebebebe koma mnyamana baba mulomo. Lelo ni lelo, chimopaka chili lelo. Nemwino wakunjipikilo mkoyo. Ifisa shinentoyo, walima kolopa monsenge chikolopo. Shubi mai mulomo meti, ubebe bamdarati. Kade kalume ndo katemeno kunduma foni bagati kamushiku. Kalina bana nkwelelo, wala fika bali mushila. Ubebe fweba kuchaume, fwe mpalume na kupala mina kufika. Nandala mapongoshi, fweba kuchaume tuleisa. Fwe bene banondo, ukashina katondo. Fwe bene bampoto, peke ni kwefe kuteka cheka.